Alright, grade 9s, today we're going to take a look at surface area. Surface area is a total area of all the surfaces of a 3D object. If you're thinking of how much paint you need to paint a dog house, we have to think about the surface area, because you need to cover each of the surfaces with paint. So, here's some common objects and their surface areas. Start off with a rectangular prism, like a box of Kleenex. Its formula for surface area is 2 times the length times the width, plus 2 times the length times the height, plus 2 times the width times the height. Then we'll look at a very special rectangular prism in which all the sides are the same. That's the cube. Its surface area is just 6 times the length squared. A triangular prism, its surface area is going to be the base times the height plus A times L, where A is the slanted length, plus B times L. That'll give us the bottom of the triangular prism, and then H times L, and that will give us the back here. A sphere is just 4 pi r squared. So as long as you know the radius, you can find the surface area of a sphere. A square-based pyramid is going to be b squared plus 2bs. S is the slant height. Okay, the slant height. That is the height from the top tip of the pyramid down to the bottom of where the base is. The surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Often you might be given the diameter. If you are, divide it by 2 and use the radius. And last but not least, we have the cone. Surface area of a cone is pi r squared. That's the area of the circular part right here. Plus pi r s. So again, the slant height is that diagonal height. We don't use the height at all for the surface area of a cone or a pyramid. Let's do some examples. Find the surface area. Okay? Find the surface area. So, let's go ahead and find the surface area of the rectangular prism. So, surface area is going to be 2 times the length times the width, plus 2 times the length times the height, plus 2 times the width times the height. I always like to write my formulas down before I do a question, just to make sure I know the formula. Okay? So, let's plug in what we know. The length is 16, so that's 2 times 16 times 8 plus 2 times 16 times 7.5 plus 2 times 8 times 7.5. 2 times 16 times 8 is 256. 2 times 16 times 7.5 is 240. 2 times 8 times 7.5 is 120. Add those areas together, and we're going to get 616 centimeters squared. Surface area is squared, so we have to make sure that all our units are in squared units. Now let's move on to this cone. And there's a little mistake here. And what we're going to say is we're going to say that this here is going to be the diameter of the cone. Okay, so make that correction on your sheet. Scribble out the 17 that was down here, and label the diameter 17 just as it is now. So now let's find the surface area of the cone. The formula is pi r squared plus pi r s. So, what's the radius? If this is 17, the radius is half of that. So the radius is going to be 8.5 squared plus pi times 8.5 times the slant height, which is 20. Order of operations, we do exponents first. So 8.5 squared is going to be 72.25. And we can do 8.5 times 20 over here because it doesn't affect anything over on the left-hand side of the expression. 8.5 times 20 is going to be 170, so it's going to be 170 pi. So now what we can do is we can figure out what these are on our calculators. Again, we have that pi button. So pi times 72.25. And if you're looking for the pi button on the calculators that I provided you with, it's at the bottom in the center. It says EXP. Just press that button and it'll use the pi function for you. So pi times 72.25 equals 226.98 plus pi times 170, and that's 534.07. 2 decimal places is sufficient. So if we add these together, we're going to get 761.05 centimeters squared. That is the surface area of the cone. Okay? Now what we'll do is we'll move on to the next example. An open-top cylindrical box has a radius of 12 and a height of 32. Find the surface area. So what we should do is we should draw a picture. Okay? Picture's worth 1,000 words. Here's our picture. Here's my cylinder. Okay. Radius of 12. Okay, so that's 12. And a height of 32. Now it's an open top cylindrical box. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at the formula for surface area. Formula for surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. The 2 pi r squared has to do with the area of the top, the area of the bottom. The 2 pi r h has to do with the curved surface that goes around the object. So the 2 pi r squared is the top and the bottom. If it's an open top, what that means is we only need 1 pi r squared, or just pi r squared. So our new formula is going to be pi r squared plus 2 pi r h, because there's no top on the box. Now we'll plug in our radius and our height. So, radius is 12. Height is 32. So, 12 squared, that's 144 pi, plus 12 times 32 times 2. Well, that would be 320 plus 64. 384 times 2, 768. So it's 768 pi. Now, we'll use the pi button and figure out what these are. Pi times 144 is 452.39. Plus pi times 768 is 2,412.74. Adding these together, we get 2,865.13 centimeters squared. That's the surface area of the open-topped cylindrical box. Okay, so now you have some homework questions to do. So work on those and turn them in tomorrow.